Disarm you with a smile, cut you like you want me to, cut that little child inside of me and such a part of you. Oh, the years burn. Oh, the years burn. I used to be a little boy, so old in my shoes. What I choose is my choice. You with a smile. No. Disarm you with a smile and leave you like they left me here to wither in denial. Bitterness of one who's left alone. Oh, the years burn. Oh, the years burn, burn, burn. It used to be a little boy, so old in my shoes. What I choose is my voice. What's a boy supposed to do? Killer in me is a killer in you, my love. I send this smile over to you. Killer in me is a killer in you. A killer in me is a killer in you. Send this smile over to you. Yeah. Well, that's how we do it here. Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan is in the house. Hey, broski. Yep. Oh, I'm hearing some feedback. I'm hearing some feedback somewhere. A piercing. How do we got it?
That's
How do you sound, Ryan?
wow. we hit that up like 3 or 4 times before we actually hit record.
I think every practice was better.
Oh yeah,
You know,
a ton better.
That's how it goes, guys. Welcome to Friday night. You know what? Not the only music that we have in store tonight. Probably just because Ryan and I have been playing together for years, and it's always a fun time. We love covers. We love just to go at it like that. So I'm going to get set up. How about we kick it off with what's been going on, Ryan?
Just doing the Uber thing mostly. More than
Ryan
anything.
is a road warrior, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah. Pretty much 50 to 70 hours each week of driving. So wrap your head around that.
Man, I used to drive like delivery driving and stuff like this. A little bit different because set hours and all this kind of thing. What you do is this self-management, and you can just blow them out, and you do blow out the hours sometimes, right?
Sometimes. I need to probably get a little bit more disciplined than I have been, but doing pretty all right. Can't complain.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're sounding good. I think both of the mics are sounding pretty good. If you guys can't tell, I got the Should be all right. I wonder if that worked or not. Yeah? Well, here we go. Are we back? I don't know. So the video was giving me trouble earlier. It was doing the choppy thing, like we know, and we've seen that before when I'm doing my lives sometimes. It just being really choppy. But I did fix it in some way. Now it looks as if it might be doing it again. Because, see, when it was being choppy, it was less resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how it looks. And see if we're still streaming at all, you know. We got, man, folks hanging out for sure. Okay. All right. Well, we are still back on, right?
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe the quality is a little subpar, but we'll see. Just whether or not whether or not the quality of the video is lesser or not. I don't know.
Well, besides, we'll get into it, but this won't be the only time we're recording this weekend.
Where video or audio is better than video. And speaking of audio, we got an idea, and we're gonna kick it off tomorrow. So you guys might have, some of you guys, Nick Voro in the house, Chase Gaddis up in the house. Many of the people that just kind of hang out, you guys know Ryan and know what we were into. Writing at the end of last year, Ryan finished a short story that is really, really cool. I did a short story at the same time, and took me a lot longer. Ryan was finishing a story that he had from before, but it's turned out really cool. And we want to do a listening party and have just it open, free for all. Come in and we'll talk about it a little bit of setup, and then we'll just listen to his short story on audio. It's really, really well recorded by Ryan's and my friend Doug. He's a great guy. And just a killer guitarist.
And that's the impetus for wanting to do the listening party, because as many of you know, everything was released last year. So if I were doing it just for the story, then that would have been done last year. This is actually what I'd like to do is really more recognition for Doug, his capabilities in recording.
Right.
And then I also, the hope is tomorrow when we do the listening party and listen to it all the way through, I'd like to also throw it out there to y'all. And I know money's tight for all of us right now, but just to give whatever you can over to his studio to help make sure that, we're able to keep his studio alive, and then also, get new equipment, things like that. And also, I mean, there's more to Doug than just his recording.
If you can see Ryan's shirt, it says Stumble Witch. That is the name of Doug's band. Mm-hmm. We went out and saw Doug's band, maybe it was a month ago.
Yeah.
Bro, what an awesome show. They rocked this place in Atlanta. And man, we had a great night. It was killer. And it's hard rock, like metal, and something like even maybe I wouldn't say like 80s style, but like maybe
I'd say it's
Iron Maiden.
It's it's hard rock as opposed to metal, I would say.
Yeah.
With kind of they're trying to go for their own sound, but I would liken it a lot to mid to later 90s. It's more proggy than anything else, I would say. So just about every song plays with different parts of genre, so you can't really staple down any one song. Right. But everything Doug does in his studio turns out amazing. As many of you who've been around here for a while know, we actually record a show there, which I'm not going to advertise here for it's not exactly family friendly. But we do all sorts of things in Doug's studio, and he does a lot for his friends, and it just feels like a lot of times he doesn't get back, what he puts into things. So I want to try and help him out. Also, like we were saying with Stumblewitch, they do have a website. So please go to stumblewitch.com. You can get this awesome shirt that I'm wearing. Also, you can sample out the music that they have there, as well as buy the CD and all the other merch that they have. So I really encourage
rocks,
you. Yeah.
Man. He's a great guy. He's a giver. He's just a giver. And so, hey, Tyler, the Falcon Reed's in the house. Con Rob is in the house. Nice to see you guys. So if y'all weren't aware, Ryan and Doug recorded an awesome recording of your short story and submitted it to Audible. It's up there. You can get it. And you don't have to, though. What we're going to do, we're going to hang out tomorrow night. Just a quick kind of setup. And then we're going to have a listening party for Ryan's short story. So we're going to essentially just be putting it out there, the audio for free. But in doing this, we're hoping that maybe we can bring some attention and give some love to Doug's studio.
I'd really appreciate that. I mean, like I said, I understand. I mean, I think for all of us, money these days is hard to come by. But gosh, even the dollar, whatever you can put in. I mean, imagine if there's
it's like 1 credit on Audible. So I mean, no matter if you spend a credit like I do, I mean, I'll spend a credit. It'll get me a $20 audiobook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A credit can be, and they're charging this kind of thing. And so you're getting that you'll get that for free tomorrow night here on the channel. You know what I mean? The value that I bring to this platform.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And so if you find any value in it, we can go there and support. And that will be like supporting my bro, Ryan, for his short story and digging the writing, the reading, the writing, and all that. But also being able to pay it forward to helping friends, right? And Stumblewitch's CD is pretty awesome.
Oh, it's freaking amazing. And I mean, they're one of those bands where, what you hear on the CD is amazing, but they're about 10 times better live.
Nice.
And every time that they play live, it's almost as they're improving more and more. So I'm like,
what you guys reading tonight? What's everybody reading tonight? My boy Ryan has been on like a Dean Koontz.
I have been on a Koontz kick.
Right?
Yeah.
And I had told you just when you were starting to talk about Koontz that the Falcon Reeds, Tyler, he's a Koontz fan and did a big kind of survey of Koontz work, his favorite stuff, things like that. And when Ryan talks about, his favorite Koontz books and Tyler talks about his, there's very little between the two that match up. When it comes down to it, the guy's just prolific, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, neither of y'all have read the entire output.
No.
So you just find things that you like in it or whatever. So we have an enjoyable author first and foremost, that's for sure.
Well, I just...
if you like what he does, right? Horror.
Yeah.
Psychological horror.
I read just recently the entire Frankenstein series, which that's a grouping of 5 books right there.
Yeah.
So finished that, and now I've moved on because I am really on a Koontz kick. So I moved on to Breathless because I had never read that. So
nice.
Yeah.
I think Tyler had put his favorite as a book called Intensity. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. But he said Intensity is his favorite Koontz. So
I think my favorite Koontz is Watchers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link to his video, and then we'll see if there's more overlap, things like that, right? What's up? Great to see you too, Tom. LA Books. Tom is my boy, and Tom is right up our alley, bro.
Yeah.
Right up your alley. He started off his booktube career doing the Divine Comedy, one video for every canto. So he just went through it and deep dived all. And he's Italian. He's an Italian American living in California. Very, very smart guy, and really put a lot of work and effort into the videos. I'm sure they're getting views steadily and will continue to. They're such a boon for the community to have what you've done for the Divine Comedy, Tom. But after that, there's so much content that he puts out that is this intersection between biology, psychology maybe, or just sciences and a spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And finding those intersections and exploring those a little bit. And that kind of thing is just what we kind of thrive on that. You know, like a lot of our discussions are about those things that are personal experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because where those things intersect is not a, mainstream accepted kind of conversation. It's something that if people are talking about it, even in the context of their own self or something, you're going to have, authoritative voices, even with no authority, saying it's not like that. Mm-hmm. Or that's not, that's, just you reaching, or you just, kind of making it up, pseudoscience, whatever you might call it. But in your own experience, that is the absolute truth, right? Mm-hmm. It's like if you were talking about how something shaped you, because we talk about an experience that we have, and then that experience having such a degree of weight that it actually, we make a choice in our life because of it, or we change a course or something like this, and there's no quantifying that and measuring that and proving that, right? There's none of that. And measurement and proof, that's what science is going to require, but really all we have is our story, right? And that kind of thing, we just kind of love that, and sharing those things that, there's so many stories I can think, and I remember you saying, from your experience, that are that kind of thing that I am talking about there, but also myself, just that when something happens, it being just almost an intangible thing, but it is real, a reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think, across the spectrum, doesn't matter what kind of art it is, depending on whatever I'm going through, I will take something different from each one of those things, especially, you bring up before with, your friend there that does the videos on Dante's Inferno. Tom. I'd love to get into some of that, especially because if you're reading that from, more kind of the original language, you can actually appreciate the rhyme scheme that we don't really even get access to.
Bro,
because
it's amazing the kind of stuff he went into on some of the cantos. Mm-hmm. How unbelievable genius Dante was, and in his poetics and things.
I consistently love going back to even look at all the behind the scenes of Dante's Inferno, all of the Divine Comedy, and how that has really affected pop culture. Especially movies like Seven,
right?
What Dreams May Come,
right?
All these different stories that either had to do with, finding your way through hell to get to purgatory, then paradise. Right. That's a theme that we continuously find all over the place. And so, I'd love to go back and look at those videos from you, Tom, especially, deep dive all that, because I've read it before, and I think, at least for myself, I mean, it's a slog read. It's one of those that you have to really just. I had to consume it very slowly.
Sure. But it's beautiful to go through it with his videos. Let me tell you, because you can go through it slowly. You just read one canto. One canto is not too long, so you can just kind of do that. And even if you're in a place afterwards, like, well, what did I just read? I don't know. You still have images. You still have these kind of things. And then watch his video, and it's just pointing out these nuggets, pulling out, a rhyme scheme here, or what's being said in these few lines, and then expounding on it and really bringing you to how Dante was using stories of his time and, basically everything that he knew, and bringing it to bear on his story of, death and redemption, this kind of thing. He says he just started a new YouTube channel called Catholic Wisdom. Right? So in this thing, who's going to sub to Catholic Wisdom? Not, a few, right? Okay. But, let me tell you, Tom is not afraid to, go towards and expound on the esoteric of spirituality and practice. And these kind of things are mostly just referred to as, that's the mystery, like the mystery of the Trinity, the mystery of communion, the mystery of all these kind of things where it gets naughty. They just say that's the mystery, right, of it.
Naughty, huh?
Knotty.
I know, right?
But what I mean? So like, people would just say, well, that's the mystery, right? Like, and people don't like that, especially nowadays, of course, because you're like, well, wait a second, we're smart enough to keep going in and dig into this, and really, what is it trying to say? And why it's a mystery is because it has to be performed inside yourself, in your mind, in your thoughts, in your feelings. That's the substance that we use. That kind of thing is not, it shouldn't be hard to grasp for people.
Yeah.
That kind of thing should be in the conversation. The fact that we can even still talk about an esoteric practice is ridiculous to me, because we've had thousands of years now of these kind of practices coming out, and you see it's all in Dante's Inferno. It's all in these kind of things. So one of my favorite is, you see Meditations on the Tarot, a tarot book that is amazing, expounding on the Tarot de Marseille, and the 2-volume German edition is on Pope John Paul II's desk, in a picture. And you ask your regular person on the street, even your regular Catholic, right? What does the Catholic Church think about the tarot, right? And what would they say? Oh, well, it's satanic. Yeah. Even they would say, it's something you shouldn't give any credence to. You shouldn't even look at it. You shouldn't even try to figure what it is. Well, these kind of things. Actually,
in full disclosure, you knew this about me, that I was raised Catholic,
right.
But I have not been very, shall we say, religious, probably since the early 2000s. However, this last month I've been returning to church. Now, it's not to become religious again, as far as...
It's just so you don't go to hell, right?
No.
Oh, wait.
No.
Wait, oh.
It's more for the community vibe.
Right.
I started to find that not going to church and just all the other things I was taking in, that I was losing some of my humanity, kind of low-key.
Sure.
And so... though I don't think that I'm going to be returning to Catholicism or any religion in that kind of sense, because, personally I feel dogmatic, rules are meant more for guidance than they are something that you completely hold yourself to.
Right.
I think that, like what you were saying with the esoteric, a lot of religions kind of leave the esoteric behind, and I think it's extraordinarily important.
It's essential.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you have these religions that are what we classify as religions, these outer religions that feel superficial and empty. Right? Because there's not this kind of aspect where we're just, we're touching on it very lightly, but we're saying exactly what it is. And it's that it's not something where you go and you just, outwardly, you can't just do like that. You have to, it has to be an inward practice. It's for you. It's for yourself. You didn't go back to it unless, there's something inside that you, like you're saying, I wanted the community. It's about the community aspect. I've never gone to any spiritual gathering without a need or a desire for to meet those kind of to meet real spiritual practitioners and pick their brain.
Yeah.
And why? Why are you the way you are, so that I can understand a little bit why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and yeah, I mean, half the part of the focus was, like I said, that communal kind of feeling. But really, at the end of the day, I think something that we've lost in our society and lost in today's world is this need for, just doing some of these, going to church or gatherings, anything that involves tradition. And I mean, going to church, going through the motions, I feel like I'm going to take more from the text than I did previously, especially now. I mean, we all remember, if any of us were forced to go to church as kids, now it's a completely different state of mind when I am taking myself to church. And it's not one of those things where I just sit down in the pews and go, oh God, how can I just,
You know what? I'm an adherent to the Hendrix electric church. Take me to the electric church, baby. Right?
Okay.
So, yeah, man, Tyler here says, I go to church on Easter. My grandparents' church will do a sunrise service where they set up a big cross outside. One year a dog came by and peed on it. How I learned dogs don't go to heaven. Oh. There's Tyler's sense of humor for you. When it comes down to it, I learned, I grew more within myself in certain spiritual study, whether that be tarot study or reading scripture, and that being more than just the Bible, but reading sacred scripture from other cultures, namely Buddhism. But I've learned more and grown more in myself from that kind of thing than I ever have through church.
Yeah.
But there's a difference, because when you're in that group setting, you see people and how they're affected by practice, whatever that might be, whether it be worship or whether it be
and see, that's more what I'm getting at, is the participation in religion. It's kind of like anything else. You can study all day long with anything that you're going to school for, but until you apply it, then it means very little.
Hermes Trismegistus is a major character in Ryan's books.
Okay, so actually, no. I mean,
I had to drop it.
No.
Boom.
Actually, you bring up a very important point, and actually part of the reason why I'm writing some of the stuff I write. One of the most kind of deep, what are the things that hit me most about the Kybalion?
Yeah.
When I read it for the first time. And something that I knew I was hating about religion itself was in the Kybalion, it states that there should never be priests, because in order to have priests, there's dogmatism to it.
Right.
But since the universe is a fluid thing that's always in motion, you can't create dogmatic law. Therefore, priests have no vocation. It's teachers. And so that was what connected with me the most out of the Kybalion, and why it's hard for me to be an adherent to any one religion.
Right.
In many ways, I feel, and this is actually what the entire series of books that I want to release really delves into, is that every religion of the world is connected.
Right.
And that in order to get a full grasp, then you would have to study every single one of them, and each one leaves a mystery for you.
You know, many of these great kind of people that have tried to do these kind of things, these great synthesizers, right? Carl Jung, Aleister Crowley, you know, these kind of figures, at least in Western culture, there's two great synthesizers. And yeah, I mean, they always fall short of communicating it to others. William Blake was even though he sat, you know, very squarely in a Christian, what would be termed a Christian worldview, he was a mystic, you know, and mysticism meaning only internal, these kind of things lead to a person being extremely broad from an outside point of view, or like how you see that person is that they're extremely broad vision, a wide perspective, an all-encompassing understanding kind of thing. And getting towards that kind of thing doesn't come with religion. The word of itself, you know, Conrad here says community. Emily said community is the best. Conrad says, yeah, it's one of the only aspects of religion that I admire. Well, you know, that word, like using religion, that right then you're talking about camps, right? One religion is not another religion, or somebody who might not adhere to a religion. But none of those things, those three examples that I just gave, and there's more than that, none of those exclude the person being a spiritual being, right? And you know, many spiritual people, very perceptive and very advanced in their spiritual perspective, may be you know, worship outside, worship in the rain, worship in nature, or something like this, and there not be any temple or structure or anything like that associated with it, and definitely wouldn't need to call it a religion, right? They would say things like, you know, the sun is my religion, right, or something like this, you know, and just busting apart these ideas of camps, because ultimately we're a lot the same, guys. You know, I'm sorry to say. You know, we thrive on differences. We see differences, and people see differences, and we love, you know, being ourselves and saying they're not, you know, these kind of things. But ultimately, we have a lot more in common than we have, you know, key differences. Pynchon loves Kabbalism. Pynchon does love Kabbalism. In all of his books, Jewish Kabbalah plays a significant role, none less than Gravity's Rainbow. Conrad just read that. In Against the Day, there's actually aspects of the tarot, some of the tarot trumps that are signified by characters that are in the story. That he did that on purpose. So if you're interested in that, if you've read Against the Day, check out my Against the Day videos, because I have never heard anybody talking about this kind of thing. I have so many videos where I'm like, okay, guys, I'm about to drop something on you I've never heard anybody talk about, you know? And I don't get a lot of feedback from that kind of stuff. And I don't expect to, because people don't have experience with this stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have a lot of experience with it, and the fact that somebody who really gets into tarot and loves tarot the way that I have, you know, like a specific to me way of getting into tarot, and then that reads Thomas Pynchon's novels, right? That's already a very small audience, right?
Well, it's very easy when you bring up the word tarot for people to fall back on. You know, you already mentioned Aleister Crowley.
Right.
They'll always fall on the darkest individuals they can. And not that all of Aleister Crowley was dark. I think, you know, his later years usually completely overshadow the whole.
Well, he definitely was a sensationalist. You
Exactly.
know? And he pushed these kind of things, but that was part of his marketing, right?
Well, I mean,
he was ahead of the curve, baby.
These are all contemporaries of Madame Blavatsky, basically.
Right.
So at the end of the day, there's still a lot of showmanship that seeps into that. That's the reason why Alistair was hanging out with L. Ron Hubbard, and just how all these different individuals were feeding off of one another. And the crazy thing to me about those specific examples are that if they weren't held together as almost a religion, or I guess we'll use the word cult, you know, the teachings themselves, just the lessons, are actually useful.
Right. Well, it's all about growth and development. That's all that it's concerned with. There's not any, you know, you don't have to believe in in something bigger like this, like, you know, in a specific way. You have to be willing, you have to be open-minded, but everything is, you know, able to be practiced. It's practical in a way that you can, that, you know, you work with something. With Crowley, of course, it was a lot of Kabbalah, and so the tarot. He created his own tarot. in at the end of his life, which is one of the greatest things that he gave to anybody. Artwork off the charts, and just a compendium of knowledge, and only concerned with the growth of the individual. You don't have to care about anything that he wrote or did in his whole life, you know, right? And
I mean, at the end of the day, the individuals that bring these things to light are generally eccentrics.
Right.
And so to take too much from what they say is a sin unto itself. Right. Really, at the end of the day, making the individual bigger than what they are, bigger than you, is the worst thing that you can do.
Well, now you're on to it, bro, for sure. Because, you know, like that there said at the beginning, that when it comes down to it, it's just what you can do. And these individuals, you know, we've pointed at a couple as examples, but I don't mean to harp on them, because it's anybody. That these individuals were strong enough within themselves and had done enough growth within themselves to really accept and understand themselves in a way to be able to embody and actualize who they were in a big way, even publicly, you know, these kind of things, to be this, not playing a role, but actually having a personality that's larger than life. Blake, Crowley, you know, Dante, even, they are these kind of beings. They had to get there within first, right? You know, so they are doing that. And then how many decades, how many centuries is it that lesser realized and lesser developed people point their finger and try to figure them out, right? When really all the answers to that are like within, and you can flex yourself, you know, grow yourself. It's tough work, though, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Takes a lot of mindfulness.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think, you know, mindfulness is it. I mean, that's the key level of everything. Once you can silence everything around you enough to where you can just be present without any kind of...
Conrad's singing Ozzy Osbourne now.
There you go. Of course. Hey, the eternal laws.
Right.
So, no, but what I'm saying, though, is, I mean, it's no secret to anybody who's watched and seen me on this channel before that I went through mental health issues. And that is the first lesson and also the most difficult lesson. And that is just getting yourself to a place where mindfulness is key, where you can get beyond every other bit of noise that you have going on in your life, just around to be able to be present in the moment. It's kind of like...
I can't help it. Oh, God, these people. Tyler, you're going to kill me, man.
Well,
go ahead.
To finish what I'm saying here, is that really at the end of the day, it's important to... Actually, okay, I'm just going to go back to what I was going to say previously, which is one of the most important things I heard anyone ever say, and I think that this was from Jordan Peterson, that basically stated, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you are anxious, you're living in the future. So long as you are experiencing either one of those things, you are not able to be in the present.
Jordan Peterson plagiarized that.
No, and
let me tell you,
gave credit to that.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I mean, but for real, I mean, that's the perennial wisdom. That's wisdom that, everybody should have, because humanity has had it now for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And it keeps coming back around and until people can wake up and realize. So Tyler, the Falcon Reed, says, just wait till I finally polish off my book I'm working on.
There we go.
I'm fitting to make Blake and LaVey look like posers. Let me tell you.
LaVey's been needing to
Anton LaVey.
Yeah.
Put him in his place. Anton LaVey, I read the Satanic Bible, maybe it was 20 years ago now. Maybe 25, and was instantly completely disgusted that here is an ego-glorifying religion. Okay, it's like Ayn Rand, and Ayn Rand and a ritualistic Satanist got together and created a religion. Right?
See, and that's what I was about to.
There's nothing to it. I mean, you can't have an anti-Christ religion, because all it is it requires the other belief set in order for it to have, and what it is a glorification of the ego to a degree that is stomach turning. Okay, mm-hmm. If you read the Satanic Bible or Atlas Shrugged, and you go, man, this person that wrote this, they're really onto something.
Noah, I'm getting upset here. I am John Galt.
Right.
I am.
Look, LaVey was just that kind of, just a, an egomaniac when it comes down to it. Nothing special about LaVey, but Blake was a giant. Okay, Blake was a spiritual giant, mm-hmm. and a giant of literature. No, Blake will not be made a poser. You may be gathered into the fold.
See, that's why earlier when you brought up Aleister Crowley in the same sentence with Carl Jung, I was like, whoa.
Well, as a synthesizer, I mean,
sure, as a synthesizer. Possibly, but the thing about Jung was, I mean, he was a contemporary of Freud. He's trying to utilize all these archetypes to
maybe a more contemporary of Plato.
Yeah,
right. I mean, very different approaches, and using the subconscious, and dream and these kind of things.
Well,
as
he was focusing on the psychiatric train of thought.
So was L. Ron Hubbard.
Sure,
right. So these there's intersections with all of it, but these people were not afraid to take into scientific study things that could not be directly measured, pointed to, observed, reproduced, these kind of things. It was something personal. It's an internal and a personal science, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're using, you are the substance and things like that. So there is going to be a wide variety of experience and, a scale of value to different experiences. Something would be very hardcore and hard to take, but for somebody else maybe just, unpleasant or something like that, right? I ain't finna read that said, I like Atlas Shrugged.
No, it's a good story.
I like Atlas Shrugged. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mooch? Mooch is my man. Okay? Hey, look. I stand by what I said, okay?
No, there's nothing wrong with the story of Atlas Shrugged. I think if
there's
you take
many things wrong with the characters of Atlas Shrugged and what their belief sets are. Okay, glorification of selfishness, much? No, the virtue of selfishness. Is that what it is? Right?
Yeah.
The virtue of selfishness. That tells you all you need to know. If you see something that is like, we're gonna explore the virtue of being selfish. I mean, you gotta, if you don't want to walk away from that just by that, you get.
Well, don't take this as an announcement, because honestly, every time we announce something that we're going to do, it's a quick way for us not to do that thing. But something that we've putzed around here and there that we want to get to at some point is doing at least an intermittent podcast where we focus on the Kybalion and especially talk about how other religions and other pieces of material were affected by it,
right,
and vice versa. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's going to help a lot with what I'm trying to do. And actually, I know we're probably getting closer to an hour, so I do want to bring up some of
We're close.
Yeah. So tomorrow, is definitely going to be just the listening party.
Yes, you guys are going to love it. A listening party for Ryan's short story. It's less than an hour. So the listening party will probably be an hour.
Right at an
hour. It'll probably be like an hour and a half, I would say. No more than an hour and a half. Hour and 15 is more like it.
And while
we're just going to get on and talk, hang out, and then we'll do it. And man, I can't wait for them to experience this. Thank you for offering it out for the free, because it's a cool story. I think y'all enjoy it. It'll be on as a video after, so y'all could, if you want to just have, get half of it, listen to more later, you can do that.
And we'll also, during the time that the audio's going, we'll also be chatting with you. So if you have any questions along the way, I can certainly type in and things like that as we're listening to it. But
we'll have a chat open. We'll have the live chat going for the listening party.
Beyond that, at some point, I know that you are going to start dropping some of your projects that you're working on, or at least little snippets here and there. And that is something that I'm looking to start doing as well, especially with some of the stories that I'm trying to get at.
Nice. Well, Ryan has been rewriting. Is it a novel? Is it part of a novel? Okay.
I've got 5 novels.
He's got 5 novels in the works, right? This is how big Ryan's ideas really are. That one aspect won't quite fit with others, so it's part of a different book, right? But within the same world, within the same overall greater story. And what he's working on is something that I've read multiple times, and I love seeing the revisions and seeing where it's going now, and has been inspiring me to get into my novel. So Ryan read my novel, and I'm really, really happy with it, the plot-wise and things like this. And the characters need more fleshing out, but I do love the characters. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump back into this story. When I do, I'm not gonna stop until I finish it. So then I'll have a novel, right? And all we can do is encourage each other along, baby.
There you go.
For sure. So Tyler says, you just wait. You just wait. I think he's quoting Hamilton there.
Yeah.
Just you wait. Just you wait. That's what he says.
Okay.
That's Hamilton, right? The musical?
I think so.
I think he really is a Lin Miranda fan. Is that right, Tyler? Do I got you right there pinned? Okay. We'll move on.
Tyler, I'm getting a lot of this.
I plan to
I'm gonna need
unveil.
to see the follow through.
Yeah. I plan, he says, this is Tyler speaking, not me.
Oh, okay.
I plan to unveil the most astoundingly WTF philosophical work ever penned.
Okay.
It's going to be the most audacious self-published book ever writ. Want to start a movement? Well, you can move it right over here, Tyler. Okay, I'm down.
It's about to be legend. Wait for it. I hope you're not allergic to dairy.
Dude, he's like in Nebraska or something. Tyler's like out in the fields of Nebraska, Kansas or something, right?
Yeah.
And just wilding out in his head, bro.
You kind of have to do it out there.
I
There's
am
not
all,
much else.
I am all over it, Tyler. I'm here for it.
Heck yeah.
Okay? And I think Ryan would definitely be too. Ryan's stories have a kind of thing where you might feel relating to a character. You might, think you got a grasp of what kind of situation you might be in. And then there is a Borgesian, like a Jorge Luis Borges style twist or of the supernatural or a paradoxical thing that then you cannot wrap your head around anymore. There might be elements of horror. There is some elements of horror.
Yeah, the might can be dropped.
There is some elements of horror. And you always you do gravitate to that style. Pulling this visceral feeling from a reader.
Yeah, I always whenever people ask me about my writing, I always tell them I'm mostly a horror writer with a sci-fi bent. So it very much I think if there's one
I'd say with a philosophical bent, sir.
Sure.
I mean, you ask big questions, and
I don't want to be pompous.
See, the thing is Ryan doesn't ask big questions on the page with the words, right? It's with the characters and their situations, and then their movements through the story. That's where the philosophy comes in. So it's very on time. Or what am I trying to say? That it's like practical. It's not musings, intellectual music. It's not cerebral. The writing can be cerebral, but the philosophical parts of it are, I think, more just in action, rooted in activity more than maybe just ponderings, right?
Yeah, and I mean the greatest influence behind it all is the Dark Tower, above everything else. So keep that in mind with whatever I go into. Not to say that it's taking directly from or anything like that, but that is the drive where it's going to be very plot driven. But it's everything accompanying it that really provides all the philosophical, I guess I would say, fodder.
Right. dude, Tyler, you're killing me, man. I mean, this guy invokes Thomas Ligotti. Basically, his book, he says, is Thomas Ligotti's style pessimism cranked up to level 11. It's like staring into the abyss, you will be changed. And then quotes Nietzsche, or half a Nietzsche quote, right?
Yeah.
Like, Tyler, okay, hey man, you're I'm sold, bro. Okay, you don't have to. Hey, it's worked on me. Okay, I'm down for it, bro.
The sales pitch is going on long because I was already bought in, like, when you first brought it up.
You know what?
What's up?
Jesus wished that he wrote this book right here.
Maybe.
It's so damn
he
good.
Did.
You know? Like
Jesus wrote us.
Where do you go next, Tyler? Right? I tell you, I'm down for all of it. Big books, philosophical ideas, all that kind of thing. We've read some amazing stuff, and got into some awesome conversations on all kinds of literature. Some of the most hard hitting are the shortest. And when it's really just done well and something that just really hits you like that. And some of the most affecting and life-changing are some of the biggest and densest, where you just kind of fall into a world and you're really there. And I see, you'll get there, but I see what you're getting at as one of those long, marathon kind of writing projects where, there's just so many different parts. And I hope that we can continue this year just like we did last year, bro. And let's finish a chunk. Let's have some product. November, that's what we wrote in last year, was November. Yeah. NaNoWriMo is a month of writing for November that community gets behind, readers and writers. So,
well, the idea for me
the goal,
is
we do whatever. No, not too hard on ourselves. Not any big deal. But maybe in November we will kick it in, and we'll still just maybe do writing sprints and stuff like that through November, and really encourage people or encourage each other, and then by vicariously encouraging people, to do what they are passionate about, tell these stories that are inside.
And I do definitely hope to, bring around things I'm working on, especially just to get the, audience's feel of what I'm putting out there. I mean, and I don't care what it is. I mean, even if you want to tell me, well, dude, this belongs at the bottom of a dung heap, just say, I don't really care what the feedback is. It's like, I think at the end of the day, criticism is necessary to hone our work.
Right. Okay, so see y'all tomorrow. Feel free to come by and criticize Ryan's work.
Please.
I love you, brother.
Are we going to close it out?
We're going to close it out. Let's close it out with what? Hey, yeah, let's close it out. We got to get the guitar back hooked up. Hold on. I only have 2 channels on this mixer, so.
This time we'll do a song that frontwards and backwards.
We are going back and forth with the other channel from mic to guitar. So now we're back on guitar. Get the mic out of the way so they can see you're playing. All right. Thanks y'all for coming by tonight. Thank you, Ryan, for the musical accompaniment and the wonderful discussion and conversation. So you think you can tell heaven from hell?
tell a good from a cold steel rail, smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot earth for the cool breeze, cold covers to change? Did you switch change? Walk on part in the ball, or a lead role in the cage?
Love all y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground of how we found the same old fear. I wish you were here.
Thank y'all. See you later.